Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yo/X/. I'm looking to get spooked. Post creepy stories from Innawoods and rural areas.
These things have happened to me up until now. All of them at my home, so it's double the scare. Be me, living in Eastern Europe in a distant mountain village with roughly 400 people. Dense pine tree forest surrounds the area. Forest sometimes so dense that you can hardly see by daylight. Whatever, enough foreplay. The year is 1999. I am 6. Our house is at the border of the woods. The chicken enclosure is in the forest partially. I own a dog. I really like my dog. I often walk it in the forest with a leash. Sometimes I take it off to let it be free and do dog stuff all around. It always returns. One day, I walk Mr. Dog as usual. I take off the leash. The dog runs off, disappears in the tall grass. I'm only 6 at the time, so probably not so tall, but it looked like. I wait for him, call his name. Nothing. Everything goes silent, like really silent. No bird sound, nothing. Run home and tell my parents. They forbid me to go into the forest for some time, and I have to get home in daylight every day for the rest of the year. Did not think much about this for a few years. Part 2. Same place. Be me, 14. Friends be like, Anon, let's go camping in the woods. Alcohol. What alcohol? If you know what I mean, .jpg. Go to the woods on a Friday evening after school. Take some booze and camping equipment from home. Meet my friends, 6 exactly, and go for it. We find a nice clearing in the forest. This gon be good .png. Set up tents, make a fire. We eventually start cooking and drinking beer. Shit, we are Eastern Europeans. Beer has no effect. Nobody wants to go get some alcohol because the village is far away. Start telling stories. Just usual camping stuff. Eat our glorious food. Tastes awesome. Nobody wants to sleep because it is overrated. Around 1:30, the fire goes low. Damn it, Anons. We need more firewood. Send the ridiculously obese friend to get some firewood because he has more body weight, therefore can carry more. What the fuck logic? We sit in a half circle around the low fire. Hear heavy footsteps behind us, roughly about 6 meters. Start joking about obese Anon making stepping sounds like Godzilla. Hear the sound of breaking wood behind us. Finally, that obese shit is doing something useful. We keep joking like, you don't have to cut down the whole forest, Anon. We keep it up until obese Anon shows up. Fucking in front of the half circle, not from behind where the sounds came from. You fat shit, were you behind us? No, I just went in this direction. You guys tried to scare me with your heavy breathing and growling, but I'm not scared, you sick fucks. What the fuck did you just say? .gif. Anon, no one went after you. Everyone goes silent and terrified. Hear growling from the direction we heard the footsteps. Everyone stands up and gathers around the fire. Bad decision. .exe. The fire now lights an even smaller area. We back away to not cast so much shadow. We see a pair of eyes as the light hits the woods. Like a cat's eye. Just reddish. It backs away, and we hear the heavy footsteps again. We have no flashlights, no weapons, and our fire is low. That's just goddamn right. Luckily, obese Anon brought some wood for the fire. Make the fire as big as possible while we hear constant growling. We check our watches. 2:10. Now that's a problem. .txt. We agree that we need parental help. Let's phone a parent. Most of the kids have strict village parents that would beat the shit out of them. My stepfather is really cool, so we decide to give it a shot. He arrives an hour later with the car. We praise him like a hero. He takes us home. As we pack our stuff into the car, my stepfather stops and listens. I thought I heard something. Might be because you sick fucks woke me up in the middle of the night. We get into the car and go home. That was horrible. Web. Part 3. Be me, 17. As I mentioned in Part 1, we have chickens. I mean all kinds of winged bastards that produce eggs and meat. Chickens, geese, ducks, turkeys, etc. The heating of the school broke down, so no school. Fuck yeah. Wake up in the morning. "Anon, could you please feed the chickens?" says Mom. "Sure, whatever. Go out, get chicken food from the storage shed." About to feed the chickens when I realize there is hardly anything left to give food. The enclosure is filled with chicken organs and feathers. The wire fence is torn open from the outside. It's fairly cold, about -20 degrees Celsius, -4 degrees Fahrenheit, but I see the blood is not frozen. Whatever it was, it happened a few minutes before. Hear movement from one of the hen houses. Got you, motherfucker. .png. Grab the first thing that lies around and can be used as a weapon. And my axe. But seriously though, it's an axe. First impression is important, so I kicked the fucking door in. Not what I expected, just a dying chicken. One leg is missing, massive damage on the back. I put it out of its misery. Must have been a fox or some shit. Revenge time, bitches. See a blood trail to the forest. Got you, fucker. Grab my handy axe and start following the trail. Well, that thing can only be described as the shittiest idea of my life. 20 minutes into the forest and chill. Got it because it's cold. The trail disappears at a clearing. Suddenly I feel like I'm being watched. I feel really uneasy. I just feel like something is behind me, and whenever I turn around, it follows my back to stay out of my sight. Start panicking. Hear growling from the distance. It sounds familiar. But from where? Holy shit, not again. Turn around and start walking at a haste pace, motherfucker. A few minutes pass, still feeling extremely uneasy, and I have goosebumps all over my back. Shivers. I stop to listen a bit. Hold my breath. Dead silence. Walking at a normal pace now. Notice a pile of branches on the ground. Step over them. I take another step, and another one. Crack. Look down slowly. There is no branch under my feet. World goes slow motion. I realize that something stepped on the pile of branches 2 steps behind me that was heavy enough to break them. Those were like solid branches of 8 to 9 centimeters, 3 to 3.5 inches in diameter. Shiverosaurus down my spine. My arm must have looked like the surface of a basketball. Not today, you dipshit. Start running home as hell. And you think light is fast? .x. Get home. Get my stepdad. Tell him the chickens are gone. What happened, Anon? Invite him outside to show him the half-eaten chicken I put down. God rest her soul. It's gone, and the inside of the hen house is wrecked as hell. It was not before. And where is my axe, Anon? I lost it in the forest. Well, that's an interesting story. Docs. No use lying. Tell him everything. He asked if I did any drugs. Tell him no and swear on anything in the world. Okay, let's go find my axe, Anon. We go together. Find the axe not far from the pile of branches. It has teeth marks all over the handle. We hear the growling again from the distance. What do we do? Stepdad of Anon. Hear growling once more, from much closer. Run. We storm to the house. After this incident, we try to avoid the forest as much as possible. But there is still one part left, anons. After the events of Part 3, we reinforced our enclosure. Now it's all wood and concrete on the forest side, and we set up a spotlight that is constantly on. Be me, 23. Going to university and only spending weekends at my home village. This year, 2016, May 6th, Saturday. I know the date because the events left a deep mark in me. So Saturday, family time. Mom, stepdad, brother, and me decide that we could use some quality time. Let's make some barbecue, guys. Yeah, well, technically it is not a barbecue, but that is the closest thing to it, and I don't want to go into details. Basically, it's open-air cooking on fire in the backyard. Evening. Time to cook. Hell yeah. Everything goes fine. Alcohol time. We consume enough alcohol to take a space shuttle to Pluto and back. We were not Eastern Europeans, probably would be dead by now. But luckily we are. So basically we just got tipsy and laughed a lot, sitting around our fire. My cat sits in my lap, laughing, eating, having a fucking good time. I hear scratching sounds all of a sudden and freeze. Ha ha ha, look at Anon, he's shitty-ass drunk. Are you a wuss or something? Says my brother. Fuck you, man, I'm not, comes my snip-snap answer. Maybe he is right, and it was just my imagination. Hear it again. Ignore it. That was my first mistake. I mentioned that the fence was reinforced. Well, the inside of it is still wire fence. The spotlight was set parallel to the fence and on the same line. I look at the fence and saw something that still haunts my nightmares. Looked like a face, definitely not human. Can only be described as a weird-shaped face with a small nose. Pick-related, sorry, my paint skills. It was not covered with fur, or only with very thin fur. The eyes, those fucking eyes. Like cat eyes, but red. By the way, the cat, it started to act nervously and ran into the house. I only saw the head because the remaining part remained in the shadows. The head was probably 130 centimeters, 4 feet 3 inches, from the ground. I rubbed my eyes to see if it was really there or not. Yep, it's still there. It's rotating its head, like it's examining us from a distance. Mom crosses over me and blocks my view. As she passes, I saw it backing away into the darkness. Brother suggests we go in and watch movies. Everyone agrees. Drunk me eventually convinces me that didn't really happen. Second mistake. We watch movies and go to sleep. Morning comes. Stepdad wakes me up. Anon, I think you better look at this. We go out. Rabbit cage is ripped open. 2 rabbits are missing. Another 3 are dead. What the fuck? .jpg. The same with all 3. I told them what I saw yesterday. We checked the fence. On the outer side, there are claw marks all over, like big ones. Nope. .jpg. We need some traps. We go and buy these smaller kind of bear traps and chain 4 of them to the fence. Get one of the dead rabbits. Sorry, bro. It's for the greater good. Cut it open and fill it up with rat poison. Put it there as bait. Fast forward. Next morning, go check if our master trap had some effect. What .jpg? The bait is missing. The bear traps are not activated. I poke them with a stick. They snap at the slightest touch. What is this shit, man? We put out more and more traps each day. No effect. Rabbits and chickens keep going missing or are found dead. We eventually decide to move the remaining rabbits and chickens to the basement. Third mistake. First night with chickens and rabbits in the basement. Feels good, man. Morning. Stepdad and mom are upset as hell. What's wrong? Turns out our sheep is missing. You can't be serious. .jpg. Blood everywhere. We do not feel safe anymore. Whatever can kill and take a sheep of 50 kilograms, 110 pounds, can easily harm humans. We sell the house and move approximately 120 kilometers away into a city. Fast forward to August. Let's visit a friend of mine in Nopeville. Go there by car. We chat about things we did as kids. I asked if anything interesting happened after we moved away. He tells me that a couple with 3 kids bought our house. Nice people, he said. But there was an incident, and now the village is mourning. What .jpg? They let the smallest kid, 9 years old, play in the backyard. They removed our glorious defense fence, and he went missing. He was never found. Only some of his clothes, torn apart and soaked in blood, were found in the forest. Never returned to my village since then. What in the hell can that creature be? I'm still afraid to go into any kind of forest. I just wanted to share this story with someone /x/.
Seen Bigfoot. Seen large masses of what seems like foliage moving into the woods along the side of the road. Been in the woods and heard a great distant bellow. Lived with my grandparents in the middle of nowhere. Always wondered why they had a spotlight in the backyard on its own backup generator. It only went out a couple of times in my 6 years living there. Weird shit always happened when it was out. Went to visit a few years back. Went for a hike. Don't go too far back. It could be dangerous. 3 miles into the hike on an old, poorly maintained four-wheeler path, and there's a clearing with pressed-over grass and partial animal skeletons. Go home and tell no one about it. They also have zero religion, but are utterly horrified of the supernatural and refuse to allow a Ouija board anywhere near the premises. Bringing one prompts a fire, but you could never tell. My time there has given me a paranoid fear of forests after a few close encounters with near death in as safe of places as the backyard. Still hate the city, though. It's a greater risk.
Care to elaborate more on these experiences? Particularly, supposedly, seeing Bigfoot. And are you saying that the generator-powered light only stopped working a couple times during 6 years, but that when it did go out, something weird or scary always happened? If so, like what? Also, what state or country or area did this happen in? And what area do you actually live in? And how old are you now, or were you when these things happened to you? By the way, where do you live now?
I saw Bigfoot when I was about 10 years old. I saw it with my older sister and younger brother. The adults were not home. It was winter. Looking out over a nearby field. We had seen people walking on the crest of a hill before, and what was walking was much taller, larger in general, with very long swaying arms, just casually strolling between tree lines. Though I realized after the fact that due to the distance, it was moving pretty quickly, even though it was moving casually because of its size. We lived at this time deep in the woods near the Ohio River Valley. The moving masses of foliage happened a few times when I lived for 2 years in Aroostook County in northern Maine. Not sure what to say about that. That was a few years ago and was more like a mindfuck to see. The generator rarely worked was the issue, so on the rare occasion we had a power outage, there was a good chance the generator wasn't working, and if the outage stretched into the night, the light wouldn't be on. In these circumstances, weird shit would happen. There was a small crawl space outside the house, for instance. One night, without the light on, it sounded like we had a pack of coyotes and a few dozen raccoons locked in there together, battling viciously for hours. Grandpa put us in a distant room together and got his shotgun. It went on for the whole night. Calmed down towards dawn. We opened it up the next day, not a hair out of place. Another time out there, I was out there with the light off at night retrieving some items because it's dangerous to leave them out in a small group of some kind of animal that I couldn't identify in the dark, but was pretty large, tall as a buck, but much wider, was all crowded around back there. I felt they all noticed me and bolted for the woods with a crashing sound and grunting. Wasn't a bear, though, as I had one of those sneak up on me once out there. Thankfully, shotguns are scary to bears. I live in a Rust Belt shithole city for the time. I visited these places recently. They aren't scary to be in because, although yes, weird shit happens, I'm familiar with it. Others have seen Bigfoot or claimed activity, and the recordings of a bellowing Bigfoot are reality-shatteringly familiar for what I experienced. I did not know any of this until farther in the future. Seeing it caused me and my siblings to pause and stare in curiosity before promptly realizing it wasn't normal and run back to the house and observe from safety. I am certain it was not a strange angle. It was just too massive for the distance. Its proportions weren't right.
Be with the cadet force, out on exercises in the middle of nowhere. We're camping in a ruined farmhouse for the night. It's my watch, standing by the gate, looking at the night. suddenly notice a humanoid shadow moving across the foliage nearby. It's crouched over but pretty big. All of the cadets are kids and nowhere near that size. All the instructors are accounted for inside. It's so dark I can't quite be sure I've even seen it. Ask the guy I'm on watch with if he saw it too. He just stands there staring wide-eyed and nods slightly. We don't have torches or anything, and our express orders are not to move beyond the fence no matter what. Call out asking who goes there, or some shit like that. Nothing responds, but the shape moves further off into another group of trees. One of our instructors hears this and comes over, asks what's going on. We tell him, and he sends us back inside, telling us we must be tired and our eyes are playing tricks on us. Next day, we caught him inspecting something over by the trees and talking with another instructor. Hear them talking about how we're the only group that should be out there. They get defensive when they notice us and tell us to go off and do some chores. Still to this day, no idea what the fuck it was.
Be me, a few years ago in Ohio. Snowstorms coming, cold winter. Decided to go out exploring on our 300-acre farm. Set off with a friend. Pack a bit of MREs, fire source, tent, sleeping bag, flashlight, and of course my trusty handgun. Feel pretty safe knowing the lay of the land. Starts to get dark on our way back. I hate daylight saving time. Snow crunches beneath our feet. Decide to cut through the woods. Hey Anon, where should we camp tonight? Somewhere to keep the wind off of us. Suddenly find fresh footprints in the snow. Heart falls through sphincter. Wait, someone's out here with us. Keep walking. Follow the footprints. End back up on the road where we came from. Fuck Anon, I'm a dumbass, I reply. Been following our footprints. Follow our footprints back into the woods and find a hollowed-out tree in the dense woods. Set up camp and start a fire. Friend breaks out the rum. Sip on it a little. Fuck. It's time for bed, Anon. Let's get a move on tomorrow. Crawl inside the tent. Friend follows behind. Sleep like a baby. Daylight is barely around when I wake up. Have to piss. Step outside the tent and see our fire is out. Go figure. Drunk ass didn't add nothing to it. Footprints all around our tent. Anon, did you get up and piss last night? No, I just got up, man. Fresh footprints all around our camp. Freak out. Let's roll back home, man. I'm creeped. So we left. It wasn't anything too scary, but imagine being out there in the middle of the woods knowing you are alone and not that anyone can find you. That snow makes noise, and I'm a light sleeper. So you wonder, how the fuck didn't you wake up?
If you were stupid enough to follow your own footsteps, you're probably stupid enough to forget that you and your buddy walked around the tree a couple times.
Have a friend. Friend goes hunting with his father. Hunting area with lots of thick stretches of tall grass and clearings in the woods. Sectioned off into assigned areas for hunting. A, B, C, etc. They get Section J and head out. Don't see much of anything all day. Out late and the sun is starting to set. Dad is objectively a bad navigator, and they come across Section H on their way out. Stumble across a small area with animal parts everywhere. Pieces hanging on strings on branches or in a weird pile. Friend says they didn't stick around long and walk the rest of the way back with a tight butthole and the safety off. Camp High Hope in 5th grade. A 3-day-long trip for school. They have sort of a story about the Marshman. I guess that's their thing to scare kids with. Something about an old mean farmer who tried to drown his wife in the marshes we were at, and succumbed by drowning to them as well, and haunts the area. Literally don't think about this the entirety of the time I'm there, and honestly not scared even a little bit, until the last night when we have a bonfire. Out in the woods, kinda in a bowl-like depression in the ground, surrounded by an embankment with trees all around, and with one trail leading in and out. It's dark, and everyone is enjoying s'mores around the fire. I walk away from the heat to cool off, and stare away from the fire up at the embankment. Casually leaning against a tree is a tall, dark shape of a person. Can only see the outline of a tall hat, and what looked like 6 little tiny red dots of light reflecting off something up its face. As soon as I saw it, I lost sight of it, went back to get as close to the fire as I could, and didn't say anything to anyone about it.
My extended family owns about 80 acres in super rural Wisconsin, literally at the end of a dirt road. To put this in perspective, my uncles grew weed in the garden back in the 70s, and nobody ever got busted. Shit is that isolated. I lived on the south end of this property, and about a half-mile north, my cousin bought some of the land from the family trust and built a house. We'd always been close, bordering on brothers, so we hung out a ton. Campfires with booze when it was warm enough. On one such night, we were having a campfire in his backyard. Just me, my female, him, and a case or two of shitty beer. Now his backyard was about an acre clearing with woods on all sides except the side where his house was. Rough map attached for reference. It was early in the night. None of us but him had even finished a single beer. He went inside to take a shit, going in through the back door that led into his basement. A few minutes passed, and we saw him come sprinting around the side of his house, left side in the map, somewhat near us, and into the woods. He called our names and giggled oddly, running back and forth along the whole top tree line in the map. Now, I'm already weirded out for a few reasons. Some you can imagine, some that require background. Most obviously, that's just bizarre behavior. But also, why would he come out the front door and go around? The thing that really had me was about a year prior. He had been in a bad car accident and broke his back. To this day, he can only walk haltingly and carefully. Running is out of the question, let alone the sprint he had managed. Anyway, we continued hearing him running back and forth, giggling that weird giggle, and were yelling stuff to the effect of, "The fuck are you doing?" at him right up to the moment we heard the basement door open, and he came walking back to the fire the way we'd expect. We told him about it, and he was like, wasn't me. I was in there losing about 15 pounds. We ended up shrugging it off and continuing with the night. Nothing else weird happened. Had many other nights in the same place without anything more happening. Could he have pranked us theoretically? If he had a trick to keep up the noises after he snuck back to his house through the woods? Sure, but practically only if you buy a guy faking a disability in front of me and my or his entire family for years to sell a one-off prank one night. And to be clear, there was no metallic or rotted stench.
Texan here, 2 years ago, found a set of wooden stairs leading 8 feet up an old iron suspension bridge crossing a creek. The wood on the stairs couldn't have been weathered more than 2 or 3 years, like new. The iron bridge was closed over 80 years ago. There is no trace of the road leading to the bridge. Just an old, shot-up, rusted-out 30s Ford V8 in a ditch. Trees and thick brush have grown up through the road for 80 years. In one direction, the nearest used road or house is 3 miles away. The other direction, 6 miles. This summer, went back to the same spot. No stairs. Bonnie and Clyde robbed a jewelry store in the nearest town and escaped west, going down the same road the bridge was on before the freeway was built 4 miles away, closing the old road.
Live in meth country in the deep south. All kinds of weird shit goes on here, and nobody really notices or cares because it's out in the sticks. Walk into my job at a restaurant because I was 16 and LOL no car. Again, out in the sticks. The roads aren't even paved. A rusty pickup truck drives past me, then slowly reverses. 2 meth heads are in the cab. One goes, hey kid, guess what? Then takes out a pistol and starts shooting at me. Run into the woods. He misses all the shots. Hear them hooting and laughing. They fire some more and peel out. Wait in the woods for a few minutes, then hike to work through the woods and arrive late. Boss sees me shaking, asks what happened. I tell him and he's like, oh, hey kid, do you own a gun? No. Maybe you should and start bringing it with you. I don't think the cops here would care, and I sure as shit don't. Fuck Kentucky.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.